Alrighty. Welcome to Everyday Talks with Kelly. This is Ewok Nation producing the show, and today we will be talking about Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan and how that affects us here in America and across the world, of course. With no further ado, Kelly, take it away.
You know what? When you introduce me, I feel like we need to have like Darth Vader's theme music. Like you could say like Kelly, take it away, and then have like dun 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 dun, dun play, and then here I come.
Stop this
Yeah,
trademark.
dang. Like, well, can we do like people clapping and going, woo?
Yeah, we could do something like that. All
All
right.
right, cool beans. All right. And that's a little taste of what goes on inside of our show. And today, like Ewok mentioned, we'll be talking about Nancy Pelosi's recent trip to Taiwan. In fact, she landed there this morning, our time, I think it was.
Did
Anywho,
Biden tell her not to go?
yeah, Biden told her not to go, but they're all friends with the CCP. They've all got their thumbs in all the pies everywhere because Nancy Pelosi's as crooked or even more crooked than the rest of the swamp, including Joe Biden, who's crooked as all kinds of get out. I think they're like neck and neck in crookedness.
Hey, he's so
Wait, but
crooked
the
he
fact
can't
is,
even walk up the staircase correctly.
that they don't want to piss off the CCP, because we're already down to our knees with every other nation. So we might as well be weak with the CCP too, right? So with
Mhm.
that being said, Nancy Pelosi went anyway with the support of some rhinos and of course her own useless party. Um, and against the best advice of Joe Biden. I don't know if they're doing this to make him look better or because he's not even speaking because he's got the COVID again, because that vaccine worked so well. And yeah. So with that being said, yeah, so let's talk about carbon footprints and how they want us to reduce our carbon footprints because this ties into Nancy Pelosi because when she flew into Taipei, which is the capital city of Taiwan, she flew in on a military jet, so that's at the cost of we the people. I don't know, when people make trips like that, perhaps we should vote on that. See if we
Yeah.
want to actually pay for it. Shouldn't it come out of their own pockets? They're taking enough from us. But regardless, we're supposed to be, reducing our carbon footprints as they're living in mansions. But then she has SUVs and vans taking her in like a presidential cavalcade to her hotel. I counted somewhere between 8, 10, maybe even 12 black vehicles, big ones that, how much gas did they use to transfer her from the airport to the hotel? And who paid for that? We, the people, paid for that. I'll just answer that question because we all know damn well it didn't come out of her own pocket. So she's there being hobnobbed and all of that. But here's the funny thing is in recent news is they're telling Taiwan that they really shouldn't fight with China, that they should just be part of China. But again, I'll say what I've said before. If Canada came for our Upper Peninsula, Michigan, I know the United States isn't going to have that. So who are we to tell another country that they should cease to become their own entity and join in with another entity that's not democratic like they are?
I
They're a
can answer that.
communist country. Go ahead.
I can answer that. The number one sellout, our government, our political
Yeah.
structure, our politicians.
Yeah, it's absolutely beyond ridiculous how crooked these people actually are and how stupid they think you are. And the fact is that they're entitled to think that we're stupid because we haven't done anything to stop them. When are we going to stand up and say, "Hey, you know what? We're done with this crap with you people. You make too much money. You've been there too long." Nancy Pelosi's been there over 40 years. So has Joe Biden. He's been there as long as I've been alive, and he hasn't done a single thing except for put black people in prison for long periods of time for marijuana. Explain that. Yeah, we apparently voted for him a record numbers. Don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
Regardless, she was there.
No, no, he wasn't elected, and let's not forget this. He wasn't elected. He was selected, and it's it's rough.
He was selected by the powers that be, and most of them aren't American.
Dominion.
So Most of them aren't, and some of them are. And you look at the Nancy Pelosi's and the Chuck Schumers and the Shifty Shifts and the rest of the garbage floating around over there in DC. It's just really unfortunate. And Donald Trump did a great job with the economy and things like that. But one thing he really could have worked a little bit harder on was putting people like Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and Nancy Pelosi and the rest of their ilk under some serious charges. I know we have the Durham investigations, but I haven't seen anything come of those. When are we going to have some justice on that side? We have people that are being sentenced to maximum prison terms for misdemeanors, for trespassing. They're being charged with felonies and they're getting max sentences. Yet you can go into Macy's and steal designer purses and get arrested and be out on the streets with no bail, no bond, no nothing. But we're over here persecuting the right, and the left seems to literally get away with murder. And,
They
at a
do.
certain time, we have to look at this inequity and say to ourselves, how much more are we going to take before we blow? We have rights. We are Americans, and that Constitution, although old as all get out, is not outdated. That is our rights. We have rights, and we need to start utilizing them. Write letters, vote outside of the box. If I hate to say this, but if Donald Trump is endorsing anybody lately, don't vote because he's endorsing along with the GOP who hates him. So Tudor Dixon in Michigan, I hope you didn't vote for her in the primaries today. Let's get Ryan Kelly in there. We need grassroots. Y'all need to vote outside of the box. Get out there and get these grassroots in and get them into office because this is the only way to get term limits, to get citizen involvement in our government, and in order for us to be we the people having a say in how we are governed. We are not their serfs. They are not our overlords and masters. We elected them. They work for us. We pay them through our taxation, our excessive taxation. And don't even get me going down that rabbit hole because taxation is theft. We went to war with Great Britain over taxation without representation, over like a 2% tax.
Yeah.
And here we are, many of us are being taxed around 40-45% if you include your state taxes and all that. That's a lot of money to have coming out of your check. At the end of the day, if you're making 50,000, you're really only making 29. So how is that right? It's not. They just taking and taking and taking. And then the next thing you know, we're not going to raise your taxes. No, they don't do that. They just raise the price of everything that you need. Gas, milk, eggs, food, everything, clothes, lotions and potions and medications and this and that and the other. They just raise all of those prices. And if the prices don't go up, they try to trick you by making the product smaller. How about that? With all that being said, let's talk about carbon footprints on Nancy Pelosi. All that gas and fuel, airline fuel and diesel fuel and gasoline, just regular plain old unleaded out of the tap. I don't know what you pump. Yeah. Her carbon footprint just making these little travels is probably more than what you make in a year. This is getting insane. And not to mention her mansion. And again, let me remind y'all, she bought waterfront, beachfront property in Florida. She has bought a mansion there, a mansion, because two old people need a ginormous house.
Yep.
Absolutely. And they bought that on the water. So global warming clearly is not a fear to them. They're not worried about rising waters because if they were, they'd be buying the mansions inland, wouldn't they? Because
To
we can
them,
talk
I have a
Barack
feeling those
Obama,
houses are disposable.
Barack Obama's multi-million-dollar mansion that he's building in Hawaii, which by the way is an island, y'all, in case you didn't know, surrounded by what?
Water.
Water. Water. island. So if we're worried about rising water levels, I sure as shit wouldn't be building a multi-million-dollar mansion on the island of Hawaii. Just putting that out there. So y'all climate change people who are thinking that, ooh, we got to get those electric cars and pay 50, 60,000 to the automakers to get an electric car. Don't do it. Don't fall into it. It's like using the self-check at Walmart. Every time you use a self-check, you are self-checking somebody out of a job.
Oh, so check this out. China said about the Pelosi visit, if you play with fire, you will get burned.
That's a threat.
And they threatened unbearable consequences on Washington if it went ahead with the trip.
Well, I
I'm
hope it's on
wondering, are these
Washington and
bluff?
not
Are
the
they
American
bluffing?
people.
Is
They
this
they
just
need to- sorry, go ahead. I'm
is this
sorry.
that's all good? Is this a Chinese bluff?
Well,
She's there. She's had a speech there already. Nothing's happened, so I'm not sure about these unbearable consequences.
if
But
there are going to be unbearable consequences, I hope they are on Washington and not on the American people. Maybe the CCP will come out and admit Hunter Biden and Joe Biden's brother's dealings with them, and Nancy Pelosi and her husband's dealings with them.
if
And
they
if you want to talk about
here,
things, look up semiconductors. Semiconductors, they're going to be needing them soon, y'all. And guess whose husband, Nancy Pelosi, guess whose husband, Nancy Pelosi's husband, has big money into a company that makes what? Let me help you. Semiconductors. Oh no. And guess who makes these semiconductors? Let me help you.
Nancy Pelosi.
Taiwan. Taiwan.
Oh yeah,
Taiwan
TSMC.
makes those semiconductors. Weird, right? Nancy Pelosi disobeys the word of our president, our supreme leader, goes to Taiwan for no reason. No, she had a reason, you guys, because they got money in semiconductors and they need Taiwan to make those
She
semiconductors
she
so
wants to
that
quote.
Nancy Pelosi can build her mansion right there, get it remodeled or whatever she's doing, right there on the Atlantic coast of Florida.
So
Yeah.
here, so here's what she said about her visit there. Our congressional delegation's visit to Taiwan honors America's unwavering commitment to supporting Taiwan's vibrant democracy, Pelosi said in a statement after landing.
I will say that Nancy Pelosi always has been a proponent. I will give her that. That's one positive thing I'll say about Nancy Pelosi. Is she's always been a proponent for freedom of Taiwan. However, most of her party disagrees and are encouraging Taiwan to secede over to China. But Nancy
Her-
Pelosi's visit isn't there for the United States. Nancy Pelosi's visit is there for her husband's company for semiconductors, which are made in Taiwan. And anybody can look that up. Go ahead. Go ahead. Do some footwork, y'all. You got to get it in. I'm telling you right now, because that's what she's there for. She defied all odds, and she hasn't taken off out of China yet. So maybe when she does, they'll blow her plane out of the sky. Fingers crossed.
the CCP would have done Americans a great service by keeping her tied down there.
I don't know. I nobody wants her. I'm just putting that one out there. But there's a
Maybe
purpose
Alaska.
to this visit that doesn't have anything to do with we the people. It has everything to do with the bank accounts of Nancy Pelosi and her drunk driving husband.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm guessing he's not going to go to jail for his drunk driving like the rest of us would. It's
I
not
mean, they
right.
usually don't.
The
If you have enough
disparity.
money.
Our country was built on the foundation that we do not have a monarchy, but yet somehow we have managed to allow our elected officials to create a monarchy of them and us. And they are the elites. They call themselves that. They don't have any fear in that. And the fact is they need to have some fear in that because they are not the elites. We are the elites. We are the elites. We are the people. They are nothing but us, and we put them there. So if we put them there, we can take them away from there. Quit voting for them. Vote outside that box. Start writing letters. Start getting control. Start voting in people who want to allow you to have your voice. Because if we keep voting the same garbage in, nothing's going to change. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result each time. It's never going to work that way. You literally have to jump in both feet and just take the risk and vote on that unknown. You're going to have to do it. And it's scary. It's scary. Sometimes we say, well, the GOP is recommending this person, Tudor Dixon, for example, in Michigan. Well, I don't trust the GOP. Well, Donald Trump endorsed Tudor Dixon. Well, I don't trust anybody Donald Trump endorses anymore if they're with the GOP. So I'm sorry, DT. I am not going to vote for your endorsements because you've been endorsing fucking rhinos and you picked up Mike Pence and trusted him. So, with that being said, I understand people can put on a really good mask and they can fool you. But at the end of the day, you all, we can't be fooled anymore. We cannot afford to be fooled anymore. A lot of us have children, some of us even have grandchildren. And I don't have any yet. I would like some, but I don't know if I ever want to see any grandchildren brought up in this country with the way that it's headed right now, because we're looking at famine and war and shortages. And with famine and war and shortages comes undescribable violence, horrific deaths, and I don't want my grandchildren to be a part of that. In order to stop it, we have to stand together. I'm not saying let's go out and quit buying gas all on one day. Nobody can really do that. I've tried to do it. And sometimes I didn't want to get gas the night before, so I had to go that day to get gas. And it sometimes you just can't, or you forget dates, but the fact is you can't forget anymore. And you can't just close your eyes and expect somebody else to fix it for you, because it doesn't work that way. Everybody has to put their voice in, and we all have to put it on that piece of paper and stuff it into that ballot in order to make any effective changes. Now,
Amen
I
to
want
that.
thank you. I want to move forward, and then we had a listener also recommend on the last show that people join as poll watchers. Too late, clearly, for the Michigan primaries, but it's never too late to be a poll watcher for the 2022 elections. So sign up and for your county, your area, your polls, and watch what they're doing and make sure they're not doing any funny business on both sides, the Republicans and the Democrats, because they both clearly cheat. We showed that on the last episode as well, that they've already said that Tudor Dixon was going to win and put that on the news over there in Kalamazoo, Michigan. So we already know the fixes, and if Tudor Dixon wins, we're going to file some lawsuits, some writs of mandamus, or whatever we got to do in order to stop this, because that's clearly election fraud. And keep an eye on it, but get out there and poll watch. There's nothing wrong with that. But I want to kind of move forward. I will be interviewing a gentleman here in the next couple of days. We talked about this a little bit on the last episode as well. He believes in the flat earth theory, and I've always been curious about it. So we're going to bring him on the show. So we're going to do an interview, with him. We're going to record that so that will not
Yeah,
be
interview
live.
first. Interview first.
Yeah. And we're going to be recording it. We're going to put out a promo video for the whole thing to give you kind of a little taste of what's going to happen on that show. And I'm hoping to get him on to kind of pick his brain, maybe even challenge him a little bit, and see, get some information that we can all kind of look at and understand where they're coming from, because it's always good to look at something from every angle. You cannot make a honest assessment of anything until you really assess it. So
Just
in
come
order
in
to
with an
assess
open
it, you have
mind.
to investigate. Yeah. So open up your mind and just stick with us and listen to the flat earther. I'm not saying you have to believe it. I'm not saying I'm going to believe it. I believe Earth is round. But I'm also interested in hearing why they believe that the Earth is flat and what evidence that they have to go along with that. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I do kind of want to drop a quick thing. There's something going on over there in Kosovo, Kosovo, Kosovo,
Kosovo?
Kosovo. Thank you, Kosovo. My brain works on occasion and not this day, but that's okay. It's all good. Yeah, it's something in the Kosovo. How do you say it again?
Kosovo.
Kosovo. Why am I saying it wrong over and over again? The Kosovo and Serbia border just reopened after NATO peacekeepers oversaw the removal of roadblocks. I guess they're fighting over license plates, and their tensions are flaring, and it's mainly on the borders right now. There's protesting, some gunfight fire, and things like that. Um,
It's normal
it's
day
just
in Eastern Europe at this point.
I don't think they're kind of going a little bit crazy that war is imminent, but I mean there's tension between them because of the
Oh,
license plate thing. It's to make the Serbs in Kosovo have their license plates, and the Serbians aren't real happy about that. The Serbs that are living in Kosovo. Um, and so I honestly don't think that's going to amount to another war over on the European front. But it's worth keeping an eye on. I would watch more closely what's going to happen with China and Taiwan um as Pelosi's leaving and after she leaves. I do know that the Chinese have been having fighter pilots flying over in Taiwan airspace. They do have a aircraft carrier in that area. We have three aircraft carriers over in that area as well that can respond quite quickly. And I have heard that they've got their amphibious assault vehicles out on the beaches for China. So
oh,
they're really putting up a
they,
show. What they're going to do is anybody's question what their next move is going to be at this point. It's really hard to predict. There's no respect left for the United States thanks to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
is anyone keeping up with this monkeypox?
Not really. I know we just got another case of monkeypox in Ingham County, Michigan. Um, but I know California declared monkeypox a national a state emergency, not
There's
national.
another state that just did it. I'm trying to figure out which one.
It's got to be New York.
I'm betting it is.
Isn't it convenient how this is happening like right around election time?
Oh my god.
It's smacking hard of 2020. Like
So
I can taste 2020 right there. And
according
it's gone.
according to the CDC, there's been a total of 6,326 confirmed monkeypox cases.
And how many of them have been fatal?
I'm looking now.
Yeah, I think zero. It's not deadly. Um, it's not deadly unless you are like nursing home material. At the if you are compromised, you might want to be very careful. Um, I wouldn't take a vaccine for it, but I'm not a fan of those things. I'm not going to get into my personal beliefs on that because I believe it's your body, your choice for the most part when it comes to vaccines. I don't think that it's wise to throw all those chemicals in your body, but I learned a hard lesson, which I shared in one of my previous shows. So I'm real careful about what I allow them to give me, which limits I have a lot of allergies, so I really have to be careful. A lot of my allergies have become very anaphylactic. And so I don't know if anybody else here has ever experienced an anaphylactic episode, but they're really scary when you can't breathe. So I'm real careful. But I would say, a lot of the people that I talk to that are not vaxxed have no intentions of vaxxing, even as they slowly eradicate our rights to buy, sell, trade, and travel without it. I know in California, they're also mandating that you be vaccinated in order to go into restaurants now. So it's you have to show your vaccine card. I'm not carrying a vaccine card. It's nobody's business if I'm vaccinated or not. The fact is with or without the
Hey,
vaccine. You can spread it, you can get it, and you could be hospitalized and you can die whether you're vaccinated or you're not vaccinated. So that's
Check
that.
this out. So this is from ucdavis.edu about the monkeypox. Here's an excerpt what they have to say. Most people with monkeypox will recover on their own, but 5% of people with monkeypox die. It appears the current strain causes less severe of a disease. The mortality rate is about 1% with the current strain. Why are we freaking out?
Why are we freaking out? Because we freak out right around election times so that
Yep.
they can get out there, vote by mail. We're going to send, now they have voting vans, voting trucks that come to your neighborhood so you can go and vote.
Yep.
I shit you not. They have them in the big cities. And this is just another way to steal your vote because how are they tracking your vote? They're not supposed to be connected to Wi-Fi or any type of internet. So I don't really understand how they can do this and get away with it, but I'll be voting in person. I will not be using a mail-in ballot, and I'm praying that Ryan Kelly wins today's primaries. And with that being said, I think it's time to close the show. I want
Yep.
to take a moment to remind all of my wonderful followers to hit the thumbs up on this video to boost me in the algorithm so I start hitting your timelines. Um, don't forget to like my channel if you're new here and subscribe so you're notified when we drop new content. We'll be dropping some previews and sneak peeks and things like that to really get you interested and let you know when we got shows coming. Um, if you have any questions or anything, drop a comment. And please, please, please share us with your friends. Share us on any social media that you have. Share us everywhere and get us out there so we can get more followers and have people listen to what we have to say. And, we want all people, not just people who are on one side of the aisle. I like to talk to people from different perspectives and to hear what you have to say. So with that being said, thank you for joining us today. I'm Kelly and
This is Ewok. It's been a great show. Thank you, everyone. I'll drop a Discord link in the description. Good night.